Hi everyone. Well, the weather really has changed over the last 24 hours. Really, we've seen rain and wind, and temperatures a lot milder than what we've seen. I mean, currently at this very moment, we're sitting at 10.6 degrees Celsius using our Shanklin station here. So yeah, it is very mild right across the island compared to what it was. And of course, this milder weather, it isn't often this time of year isn't often that dry. It does bring in these much more humid winds from the Atlantic, which means a lot more in the way of cloud and rain and unsettled conditions. And it does look like staying with us really through most of this week. But there'll be a few exceptions here and there. So let's start off where we always do, just looking at the synoptic charts for the week ahead. Now you can see this area of low pressure out here to the west of the UK, and this is what's driving our weather at the moment. And it does look like that these sort of conditions will be staying with us throughout the week. So as we run through here, you can see on Monday, tomorrow should I say, and then Tuesday, we keep this area of low pressure out to the west and northwest. And it really continues as we move into Friday and then Saturday and into Sunday. So we see this very unsettled weather. Now, of course, next weekend, for those of you that celebrate it, is Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day, of course, on the Sunday. Now, it does look at the moment like being quite unsettled and quite wet. Potentially a little bit mild at first, but then turning a bit colder afterwards. Although after that, we'll get to that in just a moment, but it does look like there will be some changes. But as I was saying, this is one of the models that we use here. So this is the global model, and now we'll compare this with the French model that we also use a lot. And at first, it does look pretty much the same, really. Nothing really changes compared to the global model. But then, as we move through into the second half of the week, it's the exact position and strength of this little low pressure that moves through. So on the French model, things look like potentially a little bit further south. The low pressure looks maybe a little bit further south, but it doesn't look quite as strong. But it does look also like we'll be seeing a lot of wind and rain with this system as we move into especially Christmas Eve. So this will be next Saturday, and then potentially into Sunday, although this is when things change a little bit. But like I said, we'll get to that in just a moment. So let's use the French model quickly, and we'll run through some of the rainfall amounts as we move through this week. And you can see really how much rain is likely to fall. So as we run through this evening and tonight, you can see all this rain moving through. We see a bit of a clearance in towards tomorrow morning with some patchy rain and drizzle around. Then it kind of clears really, and it's with some showery outbreaks of rain. So you can tell that by this blobby kind of nature here. So that shows pockets of more showery rain moving through. And then that really stays with us tomorrow evening with some heavier rain coming through once again, which we may actually need to extend our weather warning, which we have out at the moment, but we'll pop that on the screen in just a little while. But yes, you can see as we move into Tuesday morning, we've still got this rain with us, and it really stays with us until daylight hours, and then it clears to sunny spells and broken cloud. But then we move into Wednesday, we see an increase in some showery conditions moving up from the southwest, but not that much in the way of rain. And then as we move into Thursday, we see further bands of rain and showers. In fact, towards Thursday, later on Thursday, we start to see a lot more in the way of persistent rain again. And then, of course, into Friday, we see further spells of very heavy rain, which are likely to warrant a weather warning for rainfall, because some of these rainfall totals will be very high indeed. So yes, looking very wet at times, apart from the middle of the week, really. So we'll give you the close-up detail now. So tomorrow morning, it looks pretty cloudy across the island with some patchy rain here and there. It doesn't look as bad as what we've been seeing today or overnight, but there'll still be some patchy rain around, but a few brighter spells here and there, and that being a strong to gale force south to southwesterly wind. Then as we move through into the afternoon, we will potentially see a few brighter spells developing here and there, but it does also look like some further outbreaks of rain will start to develop later on, especially later on in the afternoon into the evening. But again, we could see the odd brighter spell, the odd limited bright spell here and there, and the winds will be still strong to gale force and from the south southwest. But look at these temperatures. we're seeing 11, 12, 13 degrees Celsius, so really, really mild compared to what we've had recently. Then as we move into Tuesday, it looks like a brighter day really. There's going to be some cloud around as well, but it doesn't look a terrible day, but there is the risk of the odd shower. And as we move into the afternoon, nothing really changes, and we're going to see the temperatures around 11 or 12 degrees Celsius in a moderate to fresh west to southwesterly wind. Then as we move into Wednesday, not that much changes really. We see these sunny or bright or sunny spells occasionally, but there's going to be a bit more cloud potentially developing at times, and we're still going to be seeing this moderate to fresh west to southwesterly wind. And with the temperatures of around 11 degrees Celsius, it's not going to feel terrible really, especially if you're out of the wind. But although later on in the afternoon and in towards the evening, we're going to start to see this cloud building up from the west and southwest as the next weather system starts to push in from the Atlantic and to give us some rain as we move into Thursday. So Thursday does look like being a wet day, although perhaps a little bit of brightness out here in the east at first. And these winds are going to be fresh and they'll be becoming gale force through the day. By the mid to late afternoon, they're going to be closer to around gale force. And we're going to be seeing these temperatures really of around 12 degrees Celsius as a whole. But it won't feel that nice because there's going to be all this rain moving through. So it's not looking like a very pleasant day at all. And then as we move into Friday, it's a little uncertain at this point because that's quite some way out, but it does look like we're going to see some showers or longer spells of rain at times. Out here towards the west, it looks like we may see some brighter spells gradually moving in across the island as the day goes on. But again, like I said, it's difficult to say for sure of the exact timing of these rain bands and any potential showers that may move in behind. So of course you have to stay with us later, or check back on the forecast later in the week to see what we're going to be saying about this. But yes, temperatures of 12 degrees isn't really too bad for the time of year. It's pretty mild, and we're going to be seeing these southwesterly winds again, fresh, but then becoming gale force again. So it's pretty much like Thursday. We're going to see some slightly lighter winds earlier on, but they're going to be fresh and then becoming gale force again through the day. So yeah, looking quite unpleasant at times this week, but not awful throughout the entire week, with most of the rain on Monday and then Thursday and Friday. So we skip back to this chart one more time, just briefly, and we've overlaid the temperatures on here. So you can see here this low pressure moving through that we were talking about later in the week, and you can see these yellowy colours here showing the relatively mild air, 10 to 12 degrees here. But then as we move through Saturday and into Sunday, into Christmas Day, we start to see some of these colours turning into these greens and possibly even these blues. So we're looking at temperatures getting back into single figures and then dropping close to freezing again, at least for perhaps a day or two. And as this happens, we could see potentially some wintry showers based on the global forecasting model. But of course, this model is a little bit on its own at the moment, so it's something to keep an eye on, although we're not expecting there to be winteriness over or later on in Christmas, through the Christmas period, but it does potentially look like turning colder for a few days, and like I said, worth keeping an eye on. So to summarise up really, it's going to be a complete contrast to the last couple of weeks, with this much milder weather, and of course sometimes wet and windy, especially early in the week and late in the week, with a little drier spell in between. But anyway, that's all for now, and yeah, please check back on this in the next couple of days. Oh, there is one last thing that I forgot to mention. Like I said, sorry about this, but we do have a weather warning out at the moment. So this is directly from our website. So we've got this heavy and persistent rain through tonight and into tomorrow, and it does look like we are going to be seeing some very large rainfall totals in some places, perhaps locally up to 70 millimetres. So it could be quite hazardous on the roads, and we're also expecting the risk of potentially some cliff falls, really. And this is mostly because of the much drier, icy weather that we've had, and it's caused a lot of the cliffs and areas like that to crack and become unstable. And then this rain is going to lead them, at least in some places, lead to sudden saturation of the soil and the mud and making it looser, and we could see some cliff falls in some places, so that's something to watch out for if you're going to be out and about where any large cliffs are, so on some of the beaches and places like that. So anyway, that's pretty much it for now, and we will give you some more updates over the next few days. Goodbye for now.